welcome back to my channel, Try 5 Guy. This week we're working on the 57 again, and we're going to install an Ididit column for the 57, so please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks guys. Okay guys, so here it is, a chrome Ididit column for a 57 Chevy. It's got the 1-inch double D on this end. It has the correct late model wiring harness here, or later model wiring harnesses. This suits American Auto Wire harnesses too, the wiring harness for American Auto Wire in a Try 5. So nice finish. Comes complete pretty much. All the horn stuff's there. Comes with a new nut. Looks pretty cool. I like the chrome finish, looks good. Over here, some of the stuff they give you, the retrofit steering column installation instructions right there, and it's for all of them, but we're putting it in a 57. Comes with the wiring for the horn, comes with a sticker, and the accessories for the tilt column and the indicator stalk. So there it is, all there. Steering box. Okay, so here's the steering box. Now, we've already cut this off, as you can see. So what we did was unbolted it from the car, pulled it out, or if you've got it in the car, you can unbolt it, move it all the way forward, get it through this hole here, and then you can carefully just cut it. Just cut it longer. Just cut it longer, doesn't matter. You can cut it like at 8 inches if you wanted to, because you're going to recut it again. But so this one here was originally cut from this face here out to here, 6 inches long. So that's your safety. 6 inches is your safety, because what you're going to do is you're going to bolt this column back into the car to get your final measurements for for the cut here. So let me get back. Alright guys, so we just stuck the column back in there to determine our final cut for the steering box. So what you basically got to do is stick it back, make sure it's where it's got to be sitting. We've just got the bracket underneath bolted in and got it pretty much where it's got to be over there. Then we sat the steering box back into position, and the end of that steering column and the shaft have to be touching. The end of the steering column, this face here, the face of this. So let's imagine this is the end of the column. It has to be right up against it. There can't be any gaps. The column has to be sitting in the correct position. Make sure it's up underneath there with plenty of clearance and all bolted up nicely. The instructions are pretty clear. The first section here is for a 55. And the second section here is 55, 56 for the first section, sorry. 57 is for the second section. We had that bracket already installed. We had this installed. And so basically this secondary bracket here is just designed to hold the dash cover. And that mounts to the dash cluster. So now, next thing to do is, now, in this section here, it shows how to make the shaft. So we're going to modify the shaft. So Steve made up this template here. Now it says right here, this is not made to scale. Now I guess they have these measurements here for you, because obviously if they're going to print this out, it could be a variation in the printing. So, I mean, they might print 10,000 or 20,000 of these, and there could be variations in the way it's printed. It's not going to be to scale, so they don't want to be liable for anything like that. So they just tell you the measurements. 0.39 is your first one, 0.945 is the second one, and so forth. So Steve made that out. It's about 1 inch wide here, and it simply wraps around that. So it wraps around this. I'm using one hand here. There you go, wraps around that like that. And then this is the DD section here, right? So there it is across here. he scribed it, and we put these lines across it to let us know. So that's what we're going to do next. Now this is already cut to length. The steering column butts up hard against that, and then we're going to put some flats into here, one on this side. Now to do this, make sure you're centered the steering column. Make sure it's all centered. I forgot what it was, but it's like 2 3/4 turns each way, but I've marked it here. See, I've got a center line here and a line across there. So now I'm going to cut all these down, make them nice and smooth, so the double D will fit over it. Now I don't have a double D here, or the actual one that we're going to use. It's still coming, as well as the firewall dash mount that holds the column in place. That'll be here tomorrow, hopefully. So, but we can go ahead with what I've got here. I've got a 3/4 double D union here anyway. That's the correct size. So I'm just going to modify all this, get this all ready to go, so we can just move ahead, and I'll modify it. I'm just going to use an angle grinder. I'm going to start by cutting a section through here first, down to this level here. Get that done, and then I'm going to grind it flat. So I'll be back. Okay, so I've got it locked in the vise. Here it is. Here's a better shot of that. Like I said, here's the template that Steve made. There's the top, the notch, the first notch we're going to cut out, and simply just went like this, you know, around it, like that. It's got one notch here and one notch there. Going to try to get this flat, and then you should, and the instructions here say the rounded section should be around 3/4 inch, but yet it'll be 0.550 inches across. So that little bit by hand, Steve. Am I even consistent with my milling machine?
It's a little bit thicker out here on this end.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just want to use the file to. Oh, I've got to stop this from turning. Yeah, that's how much slop it was. You said more at the edge, eh? Because you kind of like, yeah, because you kind of like, you don't want to lay in it, because this is water. Yeah, to be on this side. You know why, right? Alright guys, once you do the DD on both sides, it should look like this. We're going to wait for the fitting to come, which will be here tomorrow, but it should fit over that pretty nicely. There it is there. Next, I'm going to install this, double check the steering column for the clearance here. Then we'll put the fitting on it, and then we're going to countersink the hole. I think it goes on this side, like on this right here. I think one on each side. And what I'll do is the grub screw will screw into there and just lock everything into position. Do that, install that back in. Okay guys, got the steering box bolted in there, as you can see, lined up. Now the next thing is to test fit the column back in, make sure that they're butting. There might be some required recutting of the shaft, but this will be the last time you do that. You get it all sort of lined up and make sure it's all touching. You've got to have them touching, because that adapter you buy to go from the steering column to the steering shaft requires you to have it so they're both touching. So make sure you got that set up properly. Alright guys, as you can see, we've got the shaft on the gearbox touching the steering column. It's right hard up against it. We've got this bracket on here. I've got some plastic on it, so you know the up and down doesn't scratch the column. And as you can see right there, we've just got that cluster housing just underneath the steering column there, just a little bit, nothing, maybe a 32 or 16th. So I'm calling that good. Next thing we're going to do is mark the steering column bracket that bolts to the dash and the steering column. So as you can see, there's a hole right there. Well, there's a slot right there. You can see that slot. I'm going to hit it right in the middle. So let me get that done, and I'll be back. So,
Two short self-tapping, number 8 or number 10.
So we measured where we're going to drill. We've got it right in the middle of the bracket. There's one on this side and one on that side over here. We're going to drill two 8 or 10 millimeter. Oh, we're going to drill and tap two 8 or 10 millimeter. No, we're going to drill and tap two number 8 or number 10 screws into the column. That'll hold it from moving around. Alright guys, so we drilled the holes out. We're not going to use screws. We're going to use quarter 20 bolts through there. Just think it's better. I mean, screws are, I don't know, tacky, I guess. I just think it's better if you use quarter 20. It's going to be more sturdy. I think the original ones were 5/16, but quarter is going to be more than enough and better than number 8s or number 10s, that's for sure. Also remember that when you set these out ready to go, that you got your column orientated in the right position, you know, with the indicator stalk, and make sure you got your indicator in the right position, you know, so it's like obviously indicator and your tilt column are you know, correctly centered, I guess. So make sure this is, you know, in the right. Make sure you know, don't go drilling these up if your indicator's up here. So make sure it's where it is at the 3 o'clock position, and these are in the right position. Okay.
Here we go.
All right. So Steve's going to tap it. Quarter 20, right?
You hold the call. Really good.
Nice. Do you want to try nothing that, Steve, or do you want to do the other side? Do you want to try bolting that?
Oh.
Oh, just to make sure it's fine.
Oh, it's fine.
Mr. Confidence.
Do what?
The loop. Hold the steering column. Sorry. Don't worry, I'll let it all this. So you'll be putting it in the first time. Alright, number 2 starting. Nice. Be careful when you drill it. You don't drill to the shaft. I mean, it's not going to do nothing, but you will hit it. Nut, bolt.
Blow them out, but they're full of crud. But it'd be blown out.
All right, guys, so the steering column's all bolted in position. I've got a little bit of, lights, a bit funky here. Then we've got a little bit of a gap around the column to the cluster surround there. So that's good. Got it all bolted up as we, we tapped the threads out there. Okay, guys, another problem with my GoPro. It decided to not work properly, but I'm just showing you the steel coupler. It's the 1-inch double D to a 3/4 inch double D, and the firewall plate there. Part numbers are on them, as you can see. I'll print it up here too on the screen so you can see it. But basically, I'm just showing you what they look like. There's a couple of different designs you can buy. This one bolts in from the inside. There's provided screws that bolt into the original mounting points on the vehicle, on the firewall. I'm just showing you here the firewall where it sits. The next thing it will be the rubber, the foam, I suppose cushioning pad that sits on. It sits on the firewall. Here it is here. That's facing towards you. The other side faces the firewall. There's a part number 233. It's a seal. It's a foam, thick sponge type material that covers everything, stops any sort of water coming through. So those two items go on the column. They're pretty neat. It actually works quite well. So there you go. Okay, guys. So once you get your 1/4 inch drill, you drill these down here, just enough so that the nuts, which screw into the adapter here, they screw into the coupler. These have a chamfer on them. See the chamfer? And that chamfer locates on the 1/4 inch sort of like holes you made. Now they only go down about 1/16 of an inch. One on that face and one on that face. Just enough so it sort of like looks like that. Just enough. What you do is you get your coupler, the 1/4 inch side of the coupler, you get your coupler, the 3/4 double D end of it, slide it over here, make sure it's nice and tight, get an Allen wrench, and with the side that's got the the chamfer, you screw it in, both of them, like so. Get them all the way down. See, it's still loose, right? Look at it. You know what I mean? You get your Allen wrench. Draw them up nice and tight. Yep. Nice and tight. You get your nuts, 5/16 18 nuts. They go on top of there. They're supplied with the coupler when you buy it. Half-inch wrench. Hold it with the Allen key. Just do them up. Nip them up top. Don't have to put 10 tons of pressure on it. Just do them up nicely. Same with this one. Hold it. Put your wrench on. Do them up. Hold the Allen key. Okay. That is now a part of it. That is, the coupler is now a part of the steering box there. That will never go anywhere. That will not fail. If you do not do that, if you just elect to screw these down, yeah, it'll hold. The steering column's holding that sort of like in, right? The steering column holds pressure against that, but it will eventually loosen up and you'll have slop in it like you wouldn't believe. But do it that way, it's the right way. Next we're gonna work on doing this section of the steering column. The double D, the 1-inch double D, or the steering column shaft that goes into here, well, that's that's going to require a hole through one of the tubes. Now the tubes, obviously you'll see in a minute, is this shape, the double D shape, and it fits into there nicely and sits up hard against what we did here. Remember that that shaft is dead in line with this coupler on the inside there. Can't be hanging out because you're going to foul, right? We have to drill one hole just on one side through that. And then there's a longer bolt, and you'll see it in a second. I'll be back. Okay guys, I had to do a voiceover again. Something happened with the GoPro again. So here I'm showing you the installation, putting the steering column back into position. Just showing you what size or orientation the sponge goes. Don't forget the down chuck faces towards you and the plane side goes backwards. Okay, right there I showed you the two bolt differences. Because of the thick sponge, you have to use the longer bolt, and I explain it later in the video, but there it goes. I'm actually going to get ready, make sure that that sponge is against the wall and the plate is in front of it, and push against it. All right guys, up the top there you can see parallel with this other grub screw, there's one there, you can see the hole. So what I'm going to do, so there's one there and there's one hidden right, you can just see, let me get the light right. You can just see, there it is there, right at the bottom, parallel with this other grub screw. There's a hole there too. So I'm going to screw in the grub screws into it, so I'll make a mark on the column itself, the tube in the column I should say. So let me do that. Obviously I've only got two sets of hands, so I've got to hold a light or have a light up there and two free hands to screw that in there. So let me get that done, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Hey guys, so as you can see, I've got both of those grub screws in. I've tightened them so they would mark the tube on the column. Sorry about the lighting guys, but you know, I'm under the car. Now as you can see, that rubber there, that's you see the rubber that goes around the coupler, that grub screw is going to get really close. I know it's going to go in further, but you can see that that's going to be really, really close to where my finger is right there when it goes around when you steer. So that has to be something we've got to look forward to. It's almost like this coupler should have been back another, say, a good quarter of an inch, but you couldn't because the column, there was no allowance for the column to come back that, you know, 3/8 or 1 inch. So that's where it's got to sit. That's where it is. That the column set in spot. So next I'll pull the, here goes a better shot. I'll undo those and I'll pull the column back out again and drill the holes for clearance so those grub screws can go in deeper. Anyway, let me get out of here and pull that column out. All right, so I've taken the two grub screws back out of that coupler. The steering column's still connected, so as you can see, I bolted up the steering column. These bolts don't go through the thick foam and connect to the plate that's welded on the floor of the car from factory. So I use some 5/16 18 bolts, that's what thread it is. So I extended it. It sits flat up against the firewall and through the that little swivel firewall mount. So now I'm going to undo these bolts again, take them off, undo those 5/16 bolts out of there, take them off, take the column out, and hopefully I've marked where the holes are going to be drilled. But yeah, there's the steering column. It's sitting in there. It's sitting in the coupler. So let's get this column out. Okay, guys. So what I want to do now is I want to confirm the depth of where the tube sits up against, which is up against these flats here. You can see the end of the steering box shaft and the shoulder of the coupler. I want to measure the distance between that area and into the middle of the bolt hole here for the grub screw, and then I want to compare that to our shaft on the bench. So let me measure that. I got about 5/8 of an inch. All right, so there it is there, the mark, one of the marks I made. Where's the other one? Here's the other one here. So, gonna center punch that. Center punch. Right in the middle. Shake your hands. Right on the middle. Right in the middle there. So, center punch in the middle. Same on the other one. Here it is here. Nice mark. You can tell where can't make a mistake, right? There you go. That's pretty close to the middle. I'm on an angle because I want to try to get it straighter. Okay, now I can drill straight down. Okay. Do this one goes straight down. On the coupler instructions, they want you to drill this hole out to 3/8 of an inch. I thought that was pretty excessive. 3/8 of an inch is pretty big. So 21/64s. You want this, you know, you want to be able to get this bolt in, right? But it doesn't have to be excessive. I mean, how much slop do you need to sort of like pilot a grub screw through? So, you know, this is going to bolt into the coupler. And then it's going to seat against the inside wall of this in here. So, and then you got the third one, oh, third one, but the second one rather, and that'll bolt through and that'll sit inside here like that. We've still got the problem of it getting really close to that foam, foam firewall cover mount thing. So. Let's get in there and have a look, and we might have to cut the bottoms of these shorter, so it's just going to be a little bit of thread and the nut sticking through. If it's just the nut that's going to be on the coupler, that'll be fine. Let me get there. Okay guys, once you do up the bottom grub screws for the tube in the column, because we already previously done the one for the steering box, you do them up tight, really tight. Put your steering gear back on, put all the steering pitman arm and all that stuff back on, your nut, your bolt. Put it to the required torque specs. I don't have them offhand, but I will put a note on it. So after you do all that, assemble everything, do up these bottom bolts. There's 2 bolts under here, 5/16 bolts under here, got to be done up. Those 2 down there, they're 1/2 inch ones, got to be done up. And you put your cover back on, you screw back on, and everything is done. The indicator stalk's on. The tilt, do you want to show that tilt, Steve? Beautiful, looks good, pretty good quality. Who drives like that?
Usually Australians.
Australians drive like that. That's a good one. All right, indicator looks good. Not bad quality. It's good. All this is nice and tied up against the firewall. Steve's going to explain something to you.
So one thing the instruction sheet didn't get into a lot, and it's an easy trip up point, and I kind of discovered this on another one of these Ididit columns, but if you just look at where these 2 holes for your tilt mechanism lever and your turn signal, and then the third one over here for your flasher, your assumption is that this is straight out like 3 o'clock, and these 2 over here are at 9 o'clock. But if you make the mistake like I did once and clock that way, your collar will be sitting here going up and down like this instead of like this. So yeah, before you, on these Ididit columns, you have to drill the holes in there. So before you drill those holes in there for the mount bracket to attachment, the column to the mount bracket, make sure your tilt is running perpendicular, I guess you could say. Anyway, it's tracking the way you want it, not like this or not like that. So, and it is, as you can see from here, it's probably like at 4 o'clock-ish or something like that.
Yeah, that is definitely at 4.
Yeah, and now there is some limited adjustment here, in that this shaft has to connect straight to the steering box. So you don't have any choice but for it to intercept there. So you may see even sometimes a little bit of this way back and forth in the column, but that's just what you got to work with.
Yep.
But this pivot point and how you got that clocked is something just to be careful with.
Just a note, because there's nothing in the instructions, and I didn't say it earlier, so hopefully you watched this video before you did your own and you just didn't discover it, but I should have made a mental note. Actually, I'll put that at the start of the video. Watch to the end because there's extra special information at the end of it for installations of these columns. But hey, it took a good day to do. You know, because you want to make sure everything's done right and lined up and everything fits, and you know, yeah, that's it. That's how you install an Ididit column, or how we installed an Ididit column in a 57 Chevrolet.
I think.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one, the Ididit column installation in a 57 Chevy 4-door. Fit all of them. 2-door, 4-door, Nomad, Belair. It doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't. So it doesn't matter. But this is for a 57, and 57 is specifically for 57. 55 and 56 are the same. So, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hey, if you're going to leave a comment. I know I put my on Instagram and on Facebook, and I get 10 times more thumbs up on Facebook than I do on YouTube. So if you can, leave a comment. So it just gets the algorithms going. You know, I'm lucky to get 500 views on my videos, and I think we're making videos that will help someone, you know, build their 57 or 55 or 56, and you know, let's spread it. I'm just trying to spread the video. So if you like it, please like, subscribe, and leave a good comment so I can comment back and we can get that going. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.